Hello, everybody. This is one of your great hosts, Gregory, here for the You're Too Valuable podcast. As you can see, we do have a couple of new things that are changing. I know Robbie was saying that earlier, but we're trying out something a little bit different today. As you can see, our backgrounds are a little different. Ooh. But welcome to episode number 10. I'm going to let our other hosts introduce themselves. Go right ahead, gentlemen.
Hey everybody, it's Jesse. Hope you're having a good week. We're ready to kick off another one. Can't believe it's already episode 10.
What's up, guys? It's Robbie. Glad to be here this week to talk about annual review season, everybody's favorite time of the year. It's kind of like the follow-up to Christmas. You know what I mean? It's like Christmas second coming.
Do you really think it's everybody's favorite time of the year?
Fuck no. Fuck no. Hell no.
I think it's everybody's great time best time of the year. Why do you think we chose episode 10 to talk about reviews?
Listen, it's because everybody knows that it's going to be pushed out like 2 or 3 times. And
that's hilarious.
And you're just told to put your head down, keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to make sure that if you put the work in, you're going to get the payout, and it's going to be phenomenal. And then the week before, they're like, "Oh, there was a change to the
wait a minute, a
grading
payout?
system."
What are you talking about a payout for?
Annual review performances, the payout. It's a payout. It's supposed to be a raise.
That means there's a raise involved there? I don't know what you're talking
Greg.
about. Why is that even a thing?
Hey, Jesse, let's make a note to slash Greg's tires this upcoming week, okay?
Savage. No. I'm traveling next weekend.
We'll leave you one
next weekend.
We'll leave you one full tire.
No,
we'll leave you one full tire.
One tire. That's nice of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well,
I want you guys to really just think about for just a second. Like, imagine sitting through an hour of feedback where your boss knows they're going to be giving you bad news that they've known for a month that they've been keeping under wraps, just to be told that you're on target.
Bad. No,
hell yeah, it is.
We're not.
And here's a 3% raise. Congrats.
No.
You beat no one and nothing.
Oh yeah.
You didn't want me to say it, but I did.
I'm not having a screaming match.
It could be a good.
Greg, are you taking advantage of your EAP benefits?
What was that, Jesse? I'm going to let you talk.
It could be a good review, but depending on your boss's mood when they go to give you the review and what they're going to be, what's going on in their personal life and how stressed they are, and especially if the review. A deadline has already been pushed out 3 times because they can't get their shit together to get it finished.
No. There are reasons why there have to be pushbacks on reviews. And if any of my other HR folks that are out there that are listening to this podcast, which I hope there are, and I know there are actually, then you all know the frustrations of having to push back an annual review. And why? And it doesn't even have to be an annual review. I don't know why I said annual. It could be a semi-annual review. It could be a quarterly review.
It's a bullshit
It's not all about the same thing.
It shouldn't be getting pushed back.
No.
Just get it done on time.
It's possible to be pushbacks. So, Robbie, can you please get us on track here? Stop. Both of y'all stop baiting me and aggravating me already, and we're only like 3 to 5 minutes into this podcast. This is annoying. So let's go.
10 streak episodes of annoying the shit out of Greg for the win. Needless to say,
well done.
Let's talk about it because everybody involved, from upper leadership to mid-level managers to frontline employees, we all know it's a bullshit time. It's a stupid scoring system that does not hold any relevance. You've basically got to activate God mode and be on everybody's graces in upper leadership. You've got to be, the perfect ideal candidate to get that 5. Otherwise, I mean, it's company policy. I used to tell my managers all the
Wait
time.
a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. I just have to say something. There's fives? I've never heard of fives.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to be used.
Am I only...
I've always heard if you're out of,
it's because
out
they're
of
not
five.
allowed.
There's no...
I've
can't
heard
that
that
shit.
if you're giving...
You know that shit's true as hell. Shut up.
I've always heard as if you're getting someone a 5, that means that you should have promoted them already.
Yeah. But what about
Thank
the people
you.
that
There's
don't
our
want to
five.
promote?
Well said there. Well said.
So, needless to say, let's talk about your perspective, in your time in hospitality, Jesse, on annual reviews.
Well, it's definitely very one-sided in my opinion. Some people give their best to try and let the employee be involved, but if you're not a favorite, or let's say on your manager's fantasy football league, you're not going to be very, very favorited at all in this process.
Fantasy football league.
Yeah.
It's cumbersome, especially in companies that have a big software product that they use to run their performance reviews through as well. In the end, the employee is kind of just sitting there back looking at you like, really? Are we really doing this kind of a setup right now? Like, just tell me what raise or not I'm getting, and let me go on about the rest of my career.
Yeah. Well, I want to dive a little bit into each of our own individual stories about performance reviews. Greg, let's start with you. You can do it either from like your personal reviews that you've received or ones that you've levied. Tell us a little bit about something funny.
I don't know if I have any funny stories about a review, because
Any ridiculous stories?
All of my reviews have been very helpful for me, and I have thoroughly enjoyed every single one of them. So I don't know what you mean by funny reviews.
Holy shit, it's getting thick in here today. Holy moly.
No, I'm just being real here. You don't think I...
Jesse, tell me a story that one of your most memorable annual review stories that you can remember.
The most memorable one that comes to mind for me is we were talking about how we were going to be updating and working on the review process and everything for next year, and we had supposedly already done all of the reviews, and this is when we were at our annual conference, sitting in a room with probably 100 people, and I had the gumption to slip my hand up and let them know that I had not even received my review yet, after they had just got done explaining how great of reviews that everybody had done and how great of a process it had been.
Yeah.
But you hadn't gotten your review yet?
No. And there were others too. They were so jaded that they didn't even know exactly what the process was at.
It's crazy.
That's interesting to know.
I've got a couple of stories. I'll tell one that I find to be a little humorous. This was when I was an individual contributor, and I was blowing everybody out of the water in terms of sales performance. I think I was like top 5 in the nation. And
now who has the big head trying to come through everything here?
I mean, I got receipts, fella. I can show it. So we could go through it if you want to. Needless to say, keep your documentation, folks. That's a headliner right there. Needless to say, I got told by my manager that I was not receiving the highest level. So some companies do 3, some companies go all the way up to 5. The uncharted, undiscovered, unexplored number 5 up there. That's just there to sit pretty and never be used. I was told that I needed to smile more when working with customers, and that was a big impact on my sales. I said, I'm selling more than your next 5 people combined in this store. What the fuck do you mean by that?
Hey, language, and I can see that because, Robbie, you don't smile very often. You have this really rude look on your face, like kind of like right now.
That's called resting bitch face when I have to deal with HR.
I think I may have given you kind of that feedback one time before that, like, try to be a little bit nicer.
But all in all, you were just doing so good that they just had to have something to pull out and tell you what you had to improve on because they couldn't really have anything else.
Yeah. No, and I have another story. So when I was in upper level leadership, I was doing an annual performance review, and I've talked about this. I went to my headquarters city for the company that I worked for, took on a whole bunch of different responsibilities, wanted to demonstrate that I was, really competent in my job, really capable of doing what it took. I took on another team, didn't get compensated for it, and my annual performance review became a mockery because my performance dipped the month after my mother died. And he did it, and this assistant vice president did it in front of all of my peers in all of the West region.
Wow.
I will tell you that was about the time that I knew that I needed to get the fuck out of there.
That bad, huh?
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
Well, that's kind of sad, and I would have to say that is kind of sad.
So, needless to say, I've never had great experiences when it comes to annual reviews. I, for one, am more about that instant feedback to really reflect on what, those immediate coaching sessions after transactions to really get a good insight. And I think that those should be tailored more towards the annual review process. And we'll cover a little bit more about that, moving into the episode. But I guess I just need to smile more is the message that is that I was so speechless when he said that. I felt like, what did you just say to me? Like, catch me outside. How about that? Is how I was feeling.
Wow. Oh, jeez. Hopefully that's not copyrighted and we can actually leave that in there and this doesn't get banned.
Exactly.
I don't know if it is or not. Well,
no,
Robbie,
absolutely.
There's a couple things for both of you, for both Robbie and for Jesse. For Robbie, that's really sad because over the course of a performance review, it should be more than just one particular month, one particular time. And I know we're going to get into that. So I just want to get there. And then also for Jesse, the accolades and everything that everybody gives themselves for, finishing and performance review time and things like that, when you really haven't even gotten yours is a bit much. And it's kind of like, what's going on here? And I just sometimes I will give you a story. I mean, I had a manager who gave me some feedback. I was very early in my career, and I thought it was actually great feedback. Now, did it have to come across in my actual performance review? No. Should it have come across beforehand? Absolutely. Now, when you go through your HR, you talk about the halo and the horn effect. And I don't know if you know what those are, but your halo effect is something that you've done recently that is great. And then your horn effect is something that you've done wrong recently. And I don't know why Jesse's laughing over there, but he probably knows what the horn and halo effect are. That is something that somebody needs to call out and saying, hey, you're basing my performance based on the last couple of weeks or couple of months. That's not fair for this performance review. Anyways, we're going to get back to that. But my manager gave me this feedback, and I was like, that's not right. And I actually walked out of my performance review. because I can't believe that would actually go in that way. Was that the best thing at the time? No. You have to be very professional in your reviews and things, but there are things that you can do. You can make comments on those. Does it mess up with a raise and things like that? Absolutely. I didn't get anything that year. So, is there something I can do to kind of fight against that? No.
Yeah. What I can say is that reviews are historically out of touch and inconsistent. And a lot of it has to do with you can be the best person in the role, but if your direct supervisor or their supervisor doesn't like you, doesn't like the way that you look, doesn't like the way that you talk, doesn't like something about you, if you don't go up and greet them when they walk in the room as if they're a religious leader of, the masses, it's they're going to use that against you without question. These are the types of biases that I think have been seen all of the time. And when I used to give reviews, I made it a point to make them effective, to take everything into account, and to ultimately provide real feedback. And I was scrutinized by my leadership for giving real feedback. And I was told if I did it again that I would be going on a form of write-up for actually giving the real feedback and actually giving out more money than the company wanted to.
Now, Robbie, you're not supposed to say things like that.
But I did.
But you're not supposed to say things like that because that may not... Never mind, I don't know if I want to continue that statement. Just, we need to scratch what you just said because we can't put that out there in the world.
But it's a real fact.
Maybe.
Very much
well,
so.
Let's move on then.
So, that is controversial.
If your
well, yeah, of course it is. But I've had it happen.
Especially if your reviews aren't lining up with the supposed how your business is doing. It's like your upper level management is coming to you. Why are you giving all this positive feedback to your employees when the business is struggling?
Yeah.
Am I hearing that this is something that you both may have been through in your leadership roles?
It's pretty common, Greg. It's pretty common.
That's kind of
so. I want to talk about how often reviews punish employees for challenging bad leadership. I have had great leaders in my time, and I've had some really bad leaders. And I always give those leaders the benefit of the doubt and always give them the opportunity to improve. And, I never come into a professional relationship thinking that I know more than, some people. What I'll say is it's really strange to me that when you buck the system and you really challenge and you put things out into your professional universe, that there may be, some bad practices going on or whatever the case is, that typically tends to reflect in your annual review. So having an opinion is frowned upon. What they're looking for is yes people. We've talked about this hundreds of times on this episode, on this show. And, I think that it's important to know that if you're going to buck the system, know that it's going to impact your annual raise. You should really go into those evaluations with that expectation, without question.
Yeah, I can definitely vouch for that because I know I am one that does not go with status quo. And if any of the people that know me are listening to this, they're laughing because they all know that is me. I don't go with the standard system. So, I've gotten myself in many troubles because I do, as you call it, Robbie, buck the system.
Yeah. Jesse, have you ever? I know you definitely have bucked the system, Mr. Anti-Establishment. So to tell us a story about one of your experiences.
No, I was gonna mention about I always love that section of like sometimes it's worded ability to follow directions 1 through 5, adheres to company standards 1 through 5. It's like, geez, like you're gonna get a whiplash, and if you don't be following everything that you're dictated to do, and you're actually getting scored on that. So that's always been a funny section to me.
Yeah. And they make these evaluations in a way that really are kind of disconnected between the goals of the company and individual contributions. The numbers don't always align. And, I say this as somebody that comes from a long background in sales. You've got probably 3 to 4 really good contributors. You've got probably 3, I would say let's go this route. 25% of your performers are kicking ass, taking names, and doubling everybody else's production. Then you've got your middle performers, the people that, they can really be persuaded either way. They're very just kind of go with the flow, but they can really be turned into rock stars if they're managed right and they're led right. But they also have the ability to be kind of tugged down by the people that are at the bottom, not doing their job, not meeting expectations. So those are the most critical people to pay attention to in the organization.
Okay,
People
so
at the
I'm gonna rebut that on the case of there for you. So I used to be in sales as well. I will be the first person to tell you I am not the best salesperson. One of the reasons why I'm not the best at talent acquisition, because I don't sell a company and I don't sell a position. So I'm not sales. I give you that. Now, in a position that I was in sales with, or in customer service, and then we had salespeople and we had customer service people, I noticed as a customer service rep how much preference our leadership gave to our top salesperson. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to restate that. I'm going to tell you, they were a jerk. I could not stand working with this person because they were so egotistical, and they knew that they were going to be the top salesperson. They were going to go to Hawaii every year or wherever the great sales leadership was. But it doesn't... when somebody came in and they were saying, oh, I need to activate 2 lines or I need to upgrade, let's go to this one person that's the salesperson. Yes, is there some things there that some salespersons can do? Yes, I agree with that. Okay, I'm getting off topic. But that really just aggravated me because I know that there was bias there. And I think you talked about that earlier about, some of the possibilities that managers will show based on certain individuals. And that comes through with everything, including your performance reviews.
A lot of performance reviews, I feel like, are
that's why in sales
to set an example and to give the other employees of, hey, Bob and Joe over there got a great review, great performance review because he's kicking ass, taking names, but we got to make an example over Susie because Susie sucks.
Susie sucks.
Well, I mean, typically the top performer in really any place, they're generally doing some shady shit, and the company knows it, and they just kind of look past it. Let's just call it for what it is. Let's call it for what it is. Now, if we want effective annual reviews, there should be an integrity portion of that that goes into crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's, making sure that things are done properly, that customers are informed of what they're receiving. It's kind of the day and age where companies would rather skirt the system and pay billions of dollars in fines and not see anybody go to jail for, practices There are banks out there. There are quite a few companies that have done this. And needless to say, it's just kind of the way that our system works. It's cheaper to break the law than it is to abide by the law and to pay penalties associated with breaking those laws.
So I have a question for both of you, and this one definitely is for Jesse, being in his leadership roles and things like that. Jesse, have you ever been through what we would call a normalizing or standardizing meeting with multiple managers whenever you're going through a review process? Do you even know what any of that is or what that would be? And if you don't, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I want to know, as a manager, have you gone through things like that?
Of like reorganization?
Nope. It has to do with performance reviews.
Take it away.
Nope. Go ahead and give us some insight, Greg.
Okay, Robbie, have you ever been through a normalizing or standardizing of a performance review?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So for those who don't know what that is this should be a number of different managers, leaders within the same area, sales, customer service, whatever you want to say, within the organization, that come together and they review the actual performance review and some examples and how they would rate or how they would score each individual person. And the way that they do this is they take out all names, anything that could be considered bias, anything about your gender, race, they take names out, everything. So it makes it completely standardized. So that way your managers can get an idea of what they're looking for when it comes to measuring an individual person and taking out those biases out of the actual review process. So this is something that all managers should be going through every single time there is a review process. If you're not going through this and you're having those examples, then you're being set up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Because this should allow you to solve basically both of those two issues that Jesse and Robbie were saying. Sorry, Jesse, what were you saying?
No, yeah, it's just definitely not something that we have done ever in the past.
Yeah. Something I'll say is that the standardization of scoring, it's tied to really strange things that most people being reviewed don't understand the concept. And on target typically means a 3% raise, which is the company's standard way of saying this is your cost of living increase bundled up together, which typically, I mean, if you're in a, anywhere between the $80,000 and $150,000 range, you're looking at like $16 to $25 per paycheck. So in this economy, I mean, that's phenomenal. We're definitely going to be living large. Putting in
can't even get a gas a tank for that. Sorry, gas a tank. A tank of gas for that. Jeez, can't even talk about that one.
Yep. So it is what it is. I mean, the system is flawed. It's broken. Everybody knows it's a joke. It feels very infantile and in stages, even though they've been around for going on 2 decades. It's absolutely a system that everybody dreads. Mm-hmm. HR managers, people that are getting their annual reviews that's anxiety inducing. I mean, there's so many things that it's bullshit.
Your managers,
in my opinion, flat out bullshit. But Jesse, have you ever had a manager that's used reviews as a punishment?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that's their way to get back at someone because you stepped out of line. Definitely a way to hold back someone who's really been edging for a promotion. And they use that against someone to, because for certain levels of performance reviews, whatever you score, there you have to be in a certain range to be even promotion eligible in some companies. And I think even the timeliness of it comes into play. People just completely slacking and not getting these done, even at all sometimes. I mean, some companies aren't even doing performance reviews. I mean, let's talk about that. And completely ignoring the fact of giving feedback to their employees to the point that they don't even care. They don't care at all because that person is just not on their top of their list that they want to work with or coach or educate or get to be better in the company because they piss them off one day and they're still holding a grudge against them.
Or
they shouldn't be doing that.
Or the manager that holds the grudge for the person with a very, very serious medical condition that has to take leaves, and that sometimes comes out in the review process as well. There's a lot of things.
That should never, ever, ever come out in a review process. Ever. If that ever comes out in a review process, take that 100% to your HR department, and that needs to be changed. Because no. I mean, those are protected things, so no.
I've had leadership try to call me into racial conversations before. And I can tell you that person got promoted. They are currently in an executive level leadership in the company that I worked for, and I know that person. I know him for years. I started out in the company with that person. We kind of worked our way up the ladder together.
That's really sad.
I can tell you this: that person made a lot of decisions based on preference when it came to race, when it came to a variety of different things. And that FMLA thing we were talking about, this one individual is who I'm thinking about. And I was like, I distanced myself as quickly as I could once I started to learn their true character. Needless to say, don't do that, folks. If you're in a leadership capacity, lead from the front. Do it with visual blinders on. And do it in a way that evaluates people based on the same expected behaviors. I know that there's this major shift in professional working environments where documentation is so critical. Make sure that you get to a point where you're reviewing the same expected behaviors from everyone, regardless of what they look like, what they sound like, how they talk, their background, their medical history, their parental death history. It doesn't matter. You need to go in there with an open mind and do so without bringing that sort of judgment to the review process. There's my 2.5 cents.
I have a question for Jesse. Have you seen or dealt with anything like Robbie was just talking about? Have you seen it and have you dealt with it before?
Behind the scenes for sure, but a lot more subtly done. I think that's definitely a good topic in the future for us to go through, but definitely not as apparent and just out there. But definitely it's existed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do have to say that, going back to the documentation things is, yes, reviews should be there as documentation, and that's what they're there for, is to document your performance. Hence, it's called a performance review. The thing is that you should be having little conversations, your one-on-ones with your managers throughout your entire review process. And thus, those reviews, those one-on-ones, should be encompassed in your entire performance review, and nothing. And this is what's been surprising both with both Jesse and Robbie in their conversations and their stories. Nothing should be coming across as surprising. It should be something that you should know. And then if you're not given your review or your scores or anything like that prior to going in and talking to your manager, that's something else that you need to know about as well, because you need to be able to collect your thoughts and your information. Having that, I have actually challenged a couple of my reviews and done it in a formal way and had them changed, which is what you should be able to do, and because that does affect your raise. That affects, like Jesse was talking about, your promotions, or you could even be terminated because of it. But that doesn't mean that you cannot challenge these, so-called, not so-called, but based on what they said, these horrible reviews and the way that they're structured and the way that they're presented to your team members. That should never happen. This should be something that is outlined in your one-on-ones as you're talking to your employee, your team member, throughout the process, and nothing should be a surprise.
But then how
and that's
you
something
look
that
at after
I have said
your
over and over
review
again.
And going to say, no, I want to go through this again. Now your manager's like, are you serious? We're going to have to go through this whole process again?
Well, and that's fine. And again, this goes back to, I think Robbie was saying about this, and we've talked about it before, is challenging the status quo, challenging the man per se, if you want to say it, challenging the man, is difficult, and you can get a lot of flack for it, and sometimes it's bad, and most of the time I would say it's bad because they don't like pushback. But the only way this is the way I feel, the only way that this is going to get changed is by having that uncomfortableness and that pushback.
Leaders need to be receptive to upward feedback. I've talked about this numerous times. One of the things that I would always encourage leaders to do is, at the end of any sort of evaluation, coaching session, documented behavior, observation, what the hell ever, always ask, what can I do to help you be better? And what can I be doing better myself? And it really opens up the floodgates to really talk about that meaningful culture that everybody is a part of. Everybody has their contributions too. It's critically important to invite people to give you feedback. If and you better be ready to take it on the chin if you know deep down that you're kind of a do as I say, not as I do type of leader, and you tell people to do everything and don't lead by example, don't demonstrate what right looks like, any of those types of things. And then my advice to individual contributors is really simple. If something doesn't make sense, ask for clarification as many times as it takes. Annoy the hell out of your supervisor. If the message they are conveying is not adding up, have them draw it out for you. Have them write it out for you. Don't
have them
say,
add it up for you.
Yeah, not, okay, well, you'll figure it out. Well, no, my job's on the line if I don't understand what the expectations are. Always ask for clear guidance on what right looks like and how you're graded. So that way you have a good idea of what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to make sure that you're achieving or able to exceed goals. And I'll tell you this, I've seen in sales capacities where salespeople will sell what makes them the most money, and they will not focus on company objectives. They tend to be the most selfish people in the company, without question, and they're rewarded for that.
Wow, I'm glad some of the salesperson actually said that.
Listen, I've been a top salesperson before, but I always made sure to bring a high level of balance. And, I wasn't going to just look out for myself. I was going to do things to help the company, help the customer, help my leadership look good. And those are the types of attributes that typically would get me decent raises when I was in an individual contributor. I have a very strong opinions on things, as most of you know. Typically,
I don't think any of us have big opinions on anything around here.
Yeah, typically when you start bringing those to the conversation fireside chats, you typically they start to hold grudges against you for bringing the different ideals that don't align with their own. So,
all right. Well, I want to
to
move it along. I'm going to move it along because we've been talking about performance reviews, and what I want to know from two former managers, even as an individual contributor, and I want to clarify something for those who don't know. An individual contributor is somebody who is in a non-leading role, somebody who does not lead anybody in their company. If you are a management team, that means you manage people or manage a project. Generally, it's more of a managing people than it is managing a project. So that's what that was. Now, if you want, take it from both sides or one side, doesn't matter. What type of alternatives would you say would work other than a performance review? Mind you, a lot of companies use these for raises, for promotions. So how would you encompass all of that? I think that's a big question that a lot of our listeners may have, and I'd like to know what you both think about it.
Well,
Jesse, can you tell me what you think first?
We need to talk about the first part of that. Don't make this a yearly meeting for me to let you know that I'm burnt out because you don't talk to me about it through the entire rest of the year, and you aren't keeping a level temperature check on the company and the performance, all encompassing. Like you said, Greg, you got to be checking in with your employees, having those one-on-ones throughout the week or at least a couple times a month. I mean, let's not have this to be a part of just a ranting session from the leader about what things you're doing wrong. So, be realistic about the standards that are set in place and where the employee is at on that scale. But have that conversation with them about the things that they are doing good on a continual basis than just when their performance review comes up and you need to crush it all into this hour-long review because you don't spend enough time with them during the week. Well, just having normal conversation about, hey, or even, when I was working in let's say as a server, I mean, we would have managers that would float around and listen to us during conversations when we were server and meet with us right after an interaction that we had with our guests, like in the moment feedback and not letting it all just pile up to give into this review that you're going to half-ass go through with the employee and then give them a printout of it and make them sign it, and they're never going to look at it again.
Yeah, I think you bring up an important point, Jesse. Where managers are expected typically to get like one observation in on a per employee per week. They don't always have the adequate time to get those in.
That was going to be my next question. Thank you, Robbie.
Folks, I want you to know that those documented conversations are illegitimate if the conversation did not take place. Make sure to pay attention to those documents being received if a conversation never took place. Those coaching conversations are supposed to be two-way dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have a lot of managers that are awful at time management and don't really know how to delegate properly, and ultimately will just try to check their boxes to appease their supervisor. Mm-hmm. And you could be on the chopping block as a result of not paying attention to some of those actions. So really good point there, Jesse. A continuous coaching and development should be something that people want. It shouldn't feel like oh, you're gotcha. Like I'm gonna get you type of moment. It should be something that not just is from leadership down to direct reports, but I think it should be, it should flow from individual contributor to individual contributor. I think that's how you build a good culture, a culture of coaching and accountability. And accountability doesn't necessarily just have to be personal accountability. It could be team accountability. It could be, that's the type of environment where you have a group of individuals that will have each other's backs. I don't want to see this person get fired. I'm going to help you, fix this issue that you're experiencing. I know HR says don't talk to each other about coaching, yada, yada, yada. But it happens. And without question, it happens. It happens in every workplace. If you've always believed otherwise, Greg, you're out of your damn mind. What I do advocate for, and this is where I'll kind of end my segment here, is I really do advocate for aligning compensation with market value and not fucking scoring systems that
unique idea.
You've got
language.
And ultimately, if something's not working, let's fix it. Let's fix it together. Leaders, get off your ass, get out there, and show them where they can make improvements. Get your hands dirty. Get your feet wet. Do all that shit. Help your people be the very best that they can be.
Okay,
That's my
so
2 cents again.
I appreciated both of those two because that means a lot to me. And actually, I want to say thank you to you both. I know that doesn't come across very often, but you two did very well in that, and I really appreciate that. So I'm going to give you a score of 3 on that conversation.
You can kiss my ass, Greg.
Well, at least it's not you met expectations. You did not exceed them. Anyways, I really appreciated that because, and Robbie, I think Jesse did too, it's your time management skills. And as a manager, if you're not having those conversations with them prior to, and it's a complete surprise, then your time management sucks. And yeah, I'm going to say that. You, as a manager, need to time manage yourself better so that way you can give your employees that time.
I can almost fix 25% of time management problems. I think we had an episode about this a few weeks back. Fucking meetings on top of meetings on top of meetings on top of meetings. And you throw everything time management out the fucking window because I got a new meeting that I wasn't aware of 30 minutes ago and I've got to prepare for it in the next 15 minutes. Throws my whole day off.
But we like meetings.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I'd rather pull my eyelashes out one at a time than do another damn meeting. Let's talk about handling bad reviews. Mm-hmm. I think that something that employees need to make sure that they understand is that they need to really study what the review is. Take it for face value. If you feel like it doesn't necessarily match what's being said about the behaviors that you're exhibiting in the workplace, you need to have that conversation. I need examples. I need written examples of when this took place. Because if you're saying that I'm not doing something, I know for a fact that I am. This feels like you're trying to get me out of here. Come show me. Don't be afraid to call your leadership out because they're trying to assert their thumb on you to make sure that you just stay in line. What I mean by that, document everything. If your manager tells you something, tell them to send it to you in an email. If they don't, send them a follow-up email. Hey, I'm just checking in. You committed to sending me this email regarding our conversation today. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't forget about that. Press the buttons. Press the buttons. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Jesse, I'm sorry. No, I'm going to let Jesse because he was thinking about something in there too, and I want to get that out.
No, yeah. If you're having a review that comes over as just being nitpicky, definitely take that as a cue. Or, if you truly are, you actually agree with the bad review that you get because you're just not having a good time at that company. You're checking out. You're being bothered by certain things that you don't agree with. Because I've been there many times. Take that as a cue to start looking for a job and start getting on that job hop train. But also, we shouldn't be giving performance reviews to people that should be fired, too. Take the initiative as a leader for someone who's just completely not being productive to any standard. I'm not saying that needs to be improved. I'm saying who's not being productive at all, and get them out of the company before you're forced to give them a horrible performance review and they're sitting at you looking at deer in the headlights like, no, we've been talking about this, and they're confused, but they don't think that they know what's going on when you've actually coached and counseled them several times on what's going on, but you just haven't taken the jump because you don't want to have to cover their shift and get them out of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of those too. And when you have a negative review, you want to make sure you do document and make sure you do that follow up. Exactly what Robbie was saying. And what Jesse was saying is just to make sure that if it's not what it's supposed to be and where it's going, maybe it's time to go. What I can add to that is make sure you're holding your manager accountable. And you have to do that by making the notes in there for you. Your notes and your comments inside your review as well. Because those do matter. I know you probably think, no, they don't matter. I don't know why I'm making a comment in here, blah, blah, blah. They do matter because those are your thoughts that you have. Now, what you both were saying about your documentation and making sure you decide whether or not it's for you or not is keep a log of what you have done and accomplished over your review period. And it's really, really difficult to remember what you did last 6, 7, 12 months. So you need to hold yourself accountable to what you did and therefore bring that proof with you. And as Robbie was saying, show me the money and show me what you were doing. Now, if it's bad, I want those examples. Don't just say that it's a bad thing. And as I was saying earlier today about, earlier in the podcast was, your halo and your horn effect is your horn effect. It happens more often than the halo effect. Is your review is centered around a more recent issue that was going on. I think Robbie talked about his mother passing away, and his performance review was after that, and so he had a negative review. Bring that up. Don't let it just fall out because it's not good. It's not going to allow you to better yourself or better your manager.
Yeah. Something I'll say to kind of wrap us up and get us closing out for this episode is don't be afraid to push back. In that accountability piece with your supervisor, don't be afraid to push back. If they're giving you examples of what you need to achieve and, I need you to do this 100% of the time, well, the one person in our organization that does this 100% of the time is hitting 70% of overall target month over month over month. Is that the direction you want the company to go? Listen,
yes or no.
Balance is important. Show me the best way to get there. Be really, really inquisitive, and don't let up if your manager just tries to toss, sending you emails, just postponing it and pushing it out. Don't allow that to happen. Stay on top of them, because if they're going to hold those types of standards for you, you need to hold those types of standards for them. And the leader
here. Well said
needs
on
to do
that,
a better
Robin.
job.
Thank you.
So, with that being said, we know that reviews are pretty much broken, biased, outdated, kind of all over the place. But, it's important to know that employees can still navigate these strategically. Greg, I want you to think about some of the performance reviews that you've levied in your time. What would you say are the 3 top things you would recommend for people to really go into these reviews each and every time?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is talk about the employee. Like, Robbie did this, Robbie did that, not you did that. You're not talking to the actual employee in your review. You're talking to somebody who's going to look at that when they're not around. So Robbie was an excellent communicator over the course of the year. Robbie needs improvement over, his smiling capabilities. He doesn't know how to smile well enough. And so Robbie is going to be working on that. The other thing is make it clear.
Hold on a second. Are we preventing the company from getting sued? Is that what we're doing right there, Greg?
What else you want to do is you want to continue and document what the expectations are in the future. Stop laughing at me. You want to document what you should be doing and what the employee should be doing in the future, and tie it back to the actual goals that are attainable. Attainable or obtainable?
Attainable.
Attainable. Thank you. So those are attainable, because if they're not attainable, then how is that even a goal? But those are the things that I think you need to focus on, is, tying it back to what's attainable, what is the person actually going to focus on, and what they've actually done in the performance review period, the entire period, not just a small segment of it.
Yep. Well, we're still going to replace you with AI and probably lay off next year anyway, regardless. So,
wouldn't be the first time I got laid off.
Well, guys, we'd love to hear your stories, worst, funny stories, about some reviews that you've had in the past. You're welcome to join us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We've got a variety of YouTube. We've got a variety of different platforms that you can leave your comments. Or if you'd like to email us anonymously, send us messages to stories@your2val.com.
Our 10th episode, it's been absolutely fun. We've really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I don't know about these two. They'd enjoy having me get a little angry. But thank you so much for coming out.
Best part of my week.
Oh, yeah, I know it is. Best part of your week. For next week, for next week, we're actually not going to be here. I think Jesse and I will not be here. We have got a pre-planned party that we're going to, and we're super excited about this. So we will not be here. But I think, Robbie, what do you got for us?
So I've got some exciting things happening. I think that I may be having a guest on. She's currently in HR in the medical field, and we're going to talk about just the evolution of the workplace and what's changed. We're going to go a little bit off topic, a little bit rogue, and no HR involvement, which is exciting for me.
Thank God.
Whoa! I don't know if I like having this. That we actually are gonna have that. Jesse, back me up here. No HR is not a good thing.
What HR?
I don't think anybody's going to say that.
I've HR'd.
We still love you, though.
What?
I love it. Well, yeah, we're gonna have some exciting stuff, guys. Make sure to tune in. If you guys have any topics you'd like us to talk about, please share them. Stories@your2val.com. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it, everyone.
See
Thanks for being
you
here.
next
We'll
week.
see you soon.